Good morning, cadets. Until now, we discussed about DC sources and steady currents, circuits involved with direct currents. In those cases, the direct current was having a constant value, it doesn't change its direction at all. Now, we are going to start discussing about the currents which are varying with respect to time and changing their directions alternatively. In the previous topic, if you remember, the AC generator, which works on the principle of electromagnetic induction, it generates alternating voltage and alternating current, which are periodically varying with respect to time, and they vary with respect to time as a sine function of time. So, such voltages and currents which are varying with respect to time and which do not have fixed direction to show, they are called as alternating currents and alternating voltages. Now, the alternating current and alternating voltages have got a lot of advantages over direct currents and the steady voltages. Mainly, the production, that is generation of such electrical energy in the form of AC currents and transmission and distribution of AC currents over long distances is very convenient and quite economic compared to that of the transmission of DC, that is direct current over long distance. The transmission of direct current over long distance will be of very high cost and it will be of so much of loss of power in the form of heat, which can be avoided and losses can be minimized by using alternating currents and alternating voltages. So, everywhere in our homes, in offices and even in the laboratories, most of the times wherever we use the main switchboard, the source from where we get the electricity is basically alternating current and alternating voltages, AC currents and AC voltages. In short, they are termed as AC currents and AC voltages. You need not go for the complete meaning of AC currents. It is alternating current. You need not go for AC voltages, alternating current voltages. It is just in brief, like DC. Now it is called AC for alternating current voltages and alternating currents. Okay. So, time varying voltages are called as alternating currents or voltages which are varying sinusoidally with respect to time. Are called alternating currents or voltages. So, if you just recall the graphical variation of AC voltage which we obtained from the AC generator, it is a sine graph. This is for one cycle. So, this is corresponding to T by 2 and this is corresponding to T, and this is 1/4 of time period and this is 3/4 of time period, right. So, the voltage is not constant. The voltage, if we take it as V, it is a time dependent function. It varies between plus Vm and minus Vm. plus Vm and minus Vm. So such voltages are called as alternating voltages. See, we got the equation for this. V as a function of time t equal to Vm sin omega t. So it is a sine function of time t. It varies between plus Vm and minus Vm. Such voltages and similar currents are called as alternating voltages and alternating currents. Similarly, if you draw the graph of current also has the same pattern. This is the pattern which we got for as the output of AC generator. This is also current drawn for one complete cycle. So T by 2, T by 4, 3T by 4, same time intervals being taken here. But you see the peak value of currents, it is varying between plus Im and minus Im. So here it is current versus time graph. Current versus time graph, right? So here also we got current as a time dependent function. So currents and voltages which are varying sinusoidally with respect to time are generally called as, so we got here Im sin omega t, where we know Im is equal to Vm by R is called peak or maximum current, and here this is Vm is called maximum voltage. So the production of the electric energy in the form of alternating currents and alternating voltages and transmission and distribution over long distance is quite economic and quite convenient compared to that of DC. Therefore, alternating currents are always preferred for all our day-to-day purposes, for all our domestic purposes, right? So it is very important to learn about alternating circuits, AC circuits. So here first we are learning about, see, what happens when alternating sources are connected to a resistor. What is the current value? Similarly, what happens when the alternating source, AC source, is connected to a capacitor? What happens when AC source is connected to an inductor? So we are learning all these individually first. Then we learn the applications, LCR circuits, right? For example, whenever we tune our radio or whenever we use TV, we make use of the remote control nowadays. For tuning radio, we use that tuner to search for different radio stations. In the same way, using remote control, we search for different channels. So when we are searching for different channels, we are making use of a particular circuit, LCR circuit. L for inductor, C for capacitor, R for resistor. So LCR circuit connected to a AC source, and its application we are using as a tuner circuit in radio as well as in TV, right? So we learn the applications of these AC circuits, right? Now first, what happens when AC source is connected to resistor? So first we learn AC voltage applied to a resistor. What is the current value? Let us consider a resistor of resistance R being connected to an AC source. Remember, the AC source is denoted by symbol of sine wave, because you cannot show the polarity here. The polarity will not remain same. At every half cycle, the polarity reverses, the polarity changes. For example, if the current flows in the clockwise sense in the first half cycle, in the next half cycle the current flows in the anti-clockwise sense. You can see the pattern of current here. In the first half cycle the current is positive, and in the second half cycle the current is negative. Means if in the first half cycle the current is in the clockwise sense, so this will be positive and the other terminal will be negative. What happens in the next half cycle? The current reverses. The current reverses by making this terminal positive and the other terminal negative. Therefore, there is no fixed polarity here. So, polarity is not being shown for AC sources. So, this is the AC source of voltage, which is time dependent voltage given by Vm sin omega t. Now, what is the value of current? We will have to find out the value of current using this circuit. Now, we are going to see that the current is also of the same form. I as a time dependent function, I is a function of time t, we are going to get Im sin omega t. Let us see. So, this is a AC source connected to a resistor. Then if I is the current is now denoted by small I. If I is the small I is the current, then using Kirchhoff's law, voltage law, KVL means Kirchhoff's second law, that is Kirchhoff's voltage law, we know that summation of EMFs and IR products is equal to 0. So, summation of all these is equal to 0. So, here there is only one source whose value of voltage is V as a function of time t, minus, let the current flowing through this circuit be small I into R should be equal to 0. So, this gives us Vt is nothing but Vm sin omega t, because it is sinusoidally varying time dependent function, periodic function with respect to time t. So, Vm sin omega t must be equal to I into R. So, this is again of the form of Ohm's law, V equal to IR, right. Only difference is the voltage is not constant, it is varying with respect to time t periodically with fixed frequency, and angular frequency here is omega. Now, therefore, from this I can write what is current I. Current I is therefore equal to Vm upon R into sin omega t. So, Vm upon R we can keep it in a bracket, so that I get another form, that is I am writing it as Im, M for maximum, Im sin omega t. So, it means the current is also time dependent function, which is also varying with respect to time t as a sine function. So, it is also varying between plus Im and minus Im. So, where we got here Im is equal to Vm upon R. So, we get the similar kind of graph as I have drawn earlier. If this is a sine graph of voltage, this is the sine graph of current. And when you look at these two graphs, both are time dependent. So, Vt and It are time dependent currents, and they are exactly in phase. When the voltage is increasing, the current is also increasing. When the voltage is falling down in the next quarter, the current is also falling down exactly. And again, when the voltage changes its polarity and changes its direction in the second half, the current also, the voltage when it changes, current also changes. So, V as a function of time t, I as a function of time t vary with same phase, vary in phase, vary with same phase, that is vary in phase. So phase difference between them is 0. Phase difference between them is 0. So they maintain same phase between them. So phase difference is 0. So that's how we get the value of current Im. Im is equal to Vm upon R. So this is an important equation. Now voltage is also time dependent function Vm sin omega t, and we got current also time dependent function Im sin omega t. Now if you calculate what is the average value of voltage for one complete cycle, what is the average value of current for one complete cycle? Average value of voltage for one complete cycle is 0. Average value of current also for one complete cycle is 0. How? Whatever the instantaneous values are there for voltage in the first half cycle, the same instantaneous values are repeating with negative values in the second half. So if you add all these and divide the time taken, that gives us average value. So average value of voltage for one complete cycle is 0. In the same way, average value of current in one cycle is also 0. So first we will calculate average voltage for one complete cycle, that is between 0 to t. So if you calculate this, this is V average. So usually we write it as V bar t. V bar t is equal to 0. And similarly, average current for complete cycle for one taken over for one complete cycle I average is also equal to 0. So this is proved according to the pattern, graphical pattern. So we can also prove mathematically. See, mathematically average value is found out using one calculation. How average is calculated? See here, if we want to calculate average of some function f of t, average of some function f of t, then it is calculated for one complete cycle. Let us say if it is calculated for one complete cycle, then it is to be divided by t, and addition of all instantaneous values of this function, it is nothing but integration of instantaneous values from 0 to t. So if you carry out this, then it is nothing but addition of all such instantaneous values from 0 to t and dividing it by the complete time taken t. Are you not going to get 0 here? Because whatever positive values are there, same negative values are there. So the integration of all the instantaneous values of voltage, definitely it is going to give you 0. So you can just carry out this. Let us say V average is equal to 1 by t integration of 0 to t. See, V average is Vm sin omega t dt, because we know what is V. V is Vm sin omega t. I have just substituted between 0 to t and divided by the time taken. So if you take out Vm common, Vm being constant, and integrate sin omega t, integration of sin omega t gives you minus cos omega t dt. Okay, minus cos omega t. So that is the result between the intervals 0 to t. So if you just substitute the upper limit and lower limit, you are going to get the result 0. Vm by t, look at this, into minus cos of omega t, you know, minus also you take out, then there will be no confusion, minus also being taken out. So cos of omega t can be written as cos 2 pi by t, because omega is 2 pi by t, into upper limit, substitute the upper limit capital T, minus cos of this one, cos of 0, cos 0. So look at it. So T cancels, cos 2 pi, cos 0 is 1, cos 2 pi is also cos 0, that is cos 2 pi is also giving you 1 and cos 0 is 1. So this is giving you 1 minus 1. So 1 minus 1, is it not giving you 0? Therefore, this results into 0. This is how mathematically one can show the average value of voltage taken for one complete cycle is 0. Similarly, average value of current taken for one complete cycle is also 0. Reason is the current is Im sin omega t. So integration of Im sin omega t gives you same Im upon t into minus cos omega t between 0 to t. If you substitute, you will get the result 0. So that's why we have written average value of voltage for one cycle is 0, average value of current for one cycle is 0. What about the power? Power for one complete cycle, will it be 0? No, it will never be 0, because power is calculated as I square R. Whenever the current flows through the circuit, whether it flows in the clockwise sense or anti-clockwise sense, whether it flows in whatever time varying manner, the flow of charges through the resistance always leads to Joule's heating effect. So which is power calculated as power dissipation in the form of heat. So power dissipation in the form of heat should be of the form of I square R. So I square, if you calculate, I square is going to be square of the instantaneous currents. Square of the instantaneous currents will be always positive value. So power dissipated will be always positive. Let us calculate average power for one complete cycle. Now let us calculate average power taken in one complete cycle for AC source connected to a resistor. We know instantaneous power can be written as power at a given instant of time, which is lost in the form of heat, we can say. I square R loss can be written as power at an instant of time t equal to I square R, where I, small I, we are using it as alternating current. Remember, for DC direct current, steady current, we use capital I, and for alternating current, we use small I, even small v for alternating voltage, capital V for DC voltage. Please remember this. So where the small I is instantaneous current Im sin omega t. So if you substitute in this, we get instantaneous power Pt equal to Im square sin square omega t into R. So this can be rewritten as Im square R into sin square omega t. This is instantaneous at a given instant of time. Now let us calculate power. Mean is always written as bar, P bar for average power or mean of power for one complete cycle. So this is again can be written as Im square R sin square omega t. So this is another way of writing the average or mean. This is a bracket. This is a different symbol for writing the mean values. So in this Im square R being constant values, we can take out. So you are left with Im square R. So you are now left with sin square omega t. So let us calculate the average value of sin square omega t in one complete cycle. So that I can write separately. Okay, let me take Pt as equal to 1 by t times 0 to t Okay, Im square r sin square omega t dt. So that is summation of all the Im's summation of all the I square r values between 0 to t, that is nothing but integration. So take out this Im square r outside, Im square r divided by t into integration of sin square omega t dt between 0 to t. Now let us calculate what is integration of sin square omega t. You see, I can write sin square using cos function. You see, cos 2 theta equal to cos double function 1 minus 2 sin square theta. Using this identity, I can write what is the value of sin square theta. Therefore, this implies sin square theta is equal to 1 minus cos 2 theta, 1 minus cos 2 theta whole divided by 2. So let me use this in this form. If we use this in this form, then this implies power as a average power. Average power need not be function of time t. So we will not write, we will just write, yes, it need not be function of time t. So let us first calculate whether it is time dependent or not. We will come to know. Average power is therefore equal to write this Im square r upon t into integration of 0 to t. Instead of sin square omega t, I am writing this sin square in this form. So it becomes 1 minus cos in 2 times theta is equal to omega t, cos 2 times omega t whole divided by 2 dt. Now integrate this. So in the first way, in the first case, we will get Im square r by t into 1 by 2 dt. So it becomes 1 by 2. So I will write here itself 1 by 2 times, okay, bracket integration of dt between 0 to t by 2, that is first part, minus integration of cos 2 omega t dt between 0 to t whole divided by 2. So I have just split this. Now interestingly, if you work it out as we have done earlier, this second term cos function, integration of cos function gives you 0. Whether it is a cos single function or cos double function, integration of cos function between 0 to t, it gives you 0. 1 minus 1, as we have found out earlier, this gives you 0. So you are left with only Im square r upon t into this. So integration of dt gives you t. So finally we get okay, I will drop this part. Finally, yes, therefore P bar gives us Im square r. So this gives us t by 2, t by 2 divided by t. So this t cancels with this t. So you are left with Im square r by 2. Therefore average power for one complete cycle is not I square r, it is Im square r by 2. Im square r by 2. Mean power or average power for one complete cycle. So you can see here it is a positive quantity and it is not varying with respect to time t. It is not varying with respect to time t, it is a positive quantity, right? Now we will express this average power, we will try to express it just like the DC power. You know, DC power is given by DC power dissipated in the form of heat in case of DC circuit is I square R loss. It is I square R. So let us express this in this form. To express this in this form of DC, that is in the form of I square R, we make use of one term that is called as DC equivalent current. It is called as root mean square value of current. So, so we assume AC power mean for one complete cycle as IRMS square, look here, IRMS square into R. So, this IRMS in AC means root of mean of squares, of instantaneous currents, squares of instantaneous currents. So that is a positive quantity, a constant quantity which is equivalent to DC current. So this can be expressed as I square RMS R. So that this I square RMS R is equal to Im square by 2. You can look at this, where I square RMS is equal to Im square by 2. So it means, what does it mean? IRMS root mean square current is equal to Im by root 2. So this is root of mean of squares of all the currents, which can be understood very clearly, with the help of a graph, Now, what is the RMS current? I have just defined here. You can just see, to express AC power in the same form as DC power, that is I square R, a special value current is defined called as root mean square current, or it is also called as effective current IRMS. So if you look at the graph, this is the graph of instantaneous values of current taken for complete cycle, right? So if you draw the value of IRMS, it comes out to be Im by root 2. So Im by root 2, if you work it out, this comes out to be IRMS. So Im by root 2, if you calculate, IRMS equal to Im by root 2. So this comes out to be exactly 0.707 times Im. If this is a peak value of current Im, then exactly it is a 70.7% of peak current. This implies IRMS root mean square current, root of mean of squares of the currents, I equal to 70.7% of mean current Im. That is the meaning of this. In the same way, we can also write for voltages. The voltages will be now Vrms. In the same way, Vrms root mean square values of voltages can be also written as Vm by root 2. That implies it is 0.707 times peak value of voltage. So that is the meaning of Vrms and IRMS. Okay. For example, the domestic purpose, the current, AC current that we use in our day-to-day life, in our homes and offices, is having 220 volts. What does it mean? 220 volt. 220 volt is nothing but RMS value of voltage, root mean square value of voltages. So Vrms that we use for our domestic purpose is 220 volts. If it is 220 volts, then what is the value of peak value of voltage? for the purpose that we use in our homes in the AC mains, then Vm is equal to, you can very easily calculate, root 2 times Vrms. Root 2 times means 1.41 times 1.41 into 220. If you calculate, this comes out to be 311. So definitely mean peak value of voltage, that is maximum voltage, is 311 volts, whereas Vrms is 220 volts. So if you draw the graph, the peak value of voltage will be 311 and Vrms will be 220. So that's how we need to understand in case of AC circuits. Okay. In the next session, we shall learn about representation of AC current and voltages by rotating vectors, that is phasor, and next AC voltage applied to a inductor. So we learn step by step. AC voltage applied to a resistor, next AC voltage applied to a inductor, next AC voltage applied to a capacitor. Then we learn AC voltage applied to a circuit consisting of inductor, capacitor and resistor connected in series and their applications. Thank you. Have a nice day. Bye.